Sometimes they will buy
my
the
gosh.
best product with the best offer, and sometimes they don't.
Marketers, we love those pain points because it gives us direction. But then we forget that those pain points don't show up in the same situations every single time. Underlying psychology of why people sometimes purchase a lot, a little, high quality, low quality, really comes down to.
And it is the one and only savant of psychology. It is the ever so smart Sarah Levinger. Sarah, get in here.
Hi. Figure out technology. I was like, wait a minute, where's the link?
You know, and
It's fine. Thank you for your patience.
I think I may have not sent you a link. I think that's probably what happened.
Totally fine. I feel like as you get to like Thursday, Friday, the brain just starts to kind of slowly turn off. At least it does for me. I'm like, where am I going? And I double checked it a couple times this morning. I was like, oh, he'll add it. He'll add it. And I was like, maybe I missed it. Don't. It's fine. We're just, we're taking it easy today. We're just
taking it easy. Well, we got you here, and we appreciate your diligence in follow-up.
I know. I was excited. I was like, I want to come jam with you guys. I was listening. I'm like,
good.
I'm learning a lot on the opposite side.
All right. Sarah, I've wanted you to come on here so many times, but specifically to talk about the why behind the buy.
Oh my gosh.
And, you know, it seems so much to be the case. And often founders, marketers, we're pulling out our hair because sometimes our consumers, our beloved customers, they will buy the best product with the best offer and the da 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 da. And sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just do not. Give us perspective on that. Why are the people who we are trying to sell to, why do they buy and why do they don't?
I actually saw a post from Nate Lego. Shout out to Nate because he has the best post about this, talking about the fact that he will buy whiskey in all sorts of different situations. Sometimes when he's like happy, sometimes he's celebrating, sometimes when he's like upset,
sad.
He just needs something sad. And it's interesting because I think we kind of forget this a lot as marketers is we love those pain points because it gives us direction. It's like, I know what their problem is. I can actually build marketing around this. But then we forget that those pain points don't show up in the same situations every single time. They show up in different situations all over the place throughout your life sometimes. You'll fix it in your 20s. It'll show back up again in your 40s.
Yeah.
So this, like the underlying psychology of why people sometimes purchase a lot, a little, high quality, low quality, really comes down to, and this is going to sound bad, it comes down to situational elements. Like your environment really does kind of affect what you buy, when and where you buy. So yeah, a lot of this is kind of random, but there's lots of pieces that we can control as marketers. So
that doesn't encourage me, Sarah. Does not encourage me.
Honest. I'm here to tell you the truth.
So
this is random.
Yeah, so there's situational random layers here. There's emotional layers that don't necessarily make sense logically, but there are things that play emotionally that cause us to take the leap or not. And it seems like as marketers, founders, etc., what we have to do is we've got to gamify that. We've got to strategize the entire thing. Where are our customers? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? Where are they coming from socioeconomically in their life, their personas, etc., and just try to dig in and figure it out.
Yep. Digging in is interesting too, because I feel like marketers like to default these days to the computer, trying to figure that out. And I don't love that. The AI that we have these days is great, super helpful sometimes, but also is built on getting you the averages of the averages.
Yeah.
So you're going to get right smack dab in the middle of that bell curve. Any question you ask it, it'll bring back an average answer, which I kind of hate because if I'm doing deep research on customers or understanding pain points, or even better, understanding like the deeper underlying things that people are struggling with, I can't get it from a computer who's mimicking emotion.
I see.
That's hard.
Boy,
that's harder for me.
That's an interesting point you bring up.
That is interesting.
I love AI. Like, don't get me wrong. Sarah uses AI every single day. I'm trying to decide if I want to buy a Mac Mini and go mess around with Claude for a little bit. But in general, these days, I would so much rather go after lived experiences. So the research I'm doing is almost defaulting back to, like foundational research.
Wow.
So I want to run more focus groups. That sounds weird, but I'm like, let's go back to the 60s when the only way to get in touch with a customer was to
Yes.
bring them all in one room and be like, what do you guys do? What do you think? How do you think about it? I want to talk to you as a person, because Claude has given me the most generic answers. And I'm like, I don't think that's right. Like, I think what you're telling me is the boring answer. I need the weird one, because there's no way I can stand out as a brand or as like a marketer without understanding the outlier pieces of data that don't happen very often. So
that's interesting perspective.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. Sarah, I have to confess, I was using your principles and frameworks when I was messing around with a brand as well. And I would basically take your frameworks and principles and I would use those as an ad set. So I would create and generate usually 5 to 8 ads from a single principle that you talked about, and then the, ad sets that are broken out. So I have the follow-up question to you is, are there any principles or frameworks founders should tackle when it's regarding psychology for specific ad creative?
Yes. And I will say it's nothing, none of the stuff that you hear everybody talking about on Twitter is what you should focus on.
Oh, shots fired.
Spicy.
Apologies to everybody. I love all my coworkers and all of my peers in the group. I'm so sorry, everybody. I apologize in advance, but it's true. So the interesting part is I came up in the industry in I think it was 2019, right before COVID hit. Started posting a bunch on Twitter, just one, because I was trying to learn. I was like, who can I connect with in this industry? Because I'm just getting over here. Started posting all of the psychology. And the interesting part was, as soon as AI came in, I noticed I had 100 competitors overnight. Everybody was like, you need to use more psychology. But what they were sharing was coming from AI mostly, with the exception of a few. And so a lot of what I was hearing was similar. You need to use heuristics. You need to use more emotion. You need to get super, deep into the subconscious, but nobody was telling us how, right? Like, what does that mean? That more subconscious, what is that? So I went through and did a bunch of work in 2023, 2024 to try and figure out, one, what is AI actually good at? And how can I use this to actually dig deeper into that psychology piece? So I went through a ton of studies and basically pulled out 3 different concepts that help me understand not just what people feel, but how they talk about it while they feel it, if that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
And I did that because we all know as marketers, you need to use customer language. You have to go to the reviews, pull out the real words that they're using, and then put them in your ads. That's high level. There's 15 levels beneath that, though, that you could get really, really serious with if you wanted to. So because AI is large language model, or linguistic language models in general, I would say, they're built to deconstruct language. They're not great at numbers. So you'll notice anytime you put a spreadsheet in there, it's going to change 15 different numbers and come back with something that's that doesn't make any sense. Go check that again. It doesn't typically do that with language, though, because it's reading words, really good at vocabulary, language, and sentence structures. So I use AI to pull out the deeper emotions that people talk about in their sentences, in the reviews, and all these different customer pieces of data. And I do that because I'm trying to get down to the core of not just what you said, but what you meant when you said that.
Got it.
Now that's weird human psychology.
It's
so interesting, and it provides a lot of data and direction.
And any I'll just say for myself, I won't speak for men generally, but I have learned in my 14 or 15 years with my beloved spouse that sometimes what she says, I'm not exactly getting what she means. I'm getting caught up in the actual words that came out, but there's a feeling, a meaning underneath them. That's the actual message.
Yes. So what you're talking about is subtext. So that's what I'm trying to get to. Subtext. Subtext comes down to, I'm going to communicate something to you, and you need to pay attention to the way I'm saying it, not what I'm saying. The way I'm saying it, so that you can hear what I'm trying to actually tell you, which I give this example a lot. I could come in with my husband and say, do you take the trash out? Oh, that would be so great if you could do that. I'm so sorry that I forgot this morning. Could you take that out? Or I could say, why did you not take the trash out? What is going on? I told you 5 times to do this. What is wrong with you? Right?
Yes.
Subtext is very different there. First one is very much I totally forgot about this. Can you help me out with that? Second one is you're dumb, is what I'm telling them. You are an idiot. Why have you not solved this yet?
Yeah.
So, and it's interesting because people will write their subtext. You can hear almost the inflections by the way that they choose to word things.
Yeah.
So, and I get nervous about this because a lot of the internet is starting to turn into AI. What's the word? Like coded, right?
Yeah.
So people are taking what they usually say, throwing it into Gemini, and then taking whatever Gemini puts out and putting it on Reddit instead of typing out their whole thread on Reddit. We're going to run into a problem here pretty soon where you can't get access to real, like actual human driven responses because it's going to all be put through AI. And I'm like, focus groups. Okay. So we have to go back to focus groups.
Back to the basics.
Yeah. So jumping off of that, I mean, you talked a little bit about reviews as well. What are some ways that you're actually ingesting some of that customer data other than reviews? I mean, you just touched on focus groups too, but are there any other avenues where you're like, I'm so shocked that brands are not doing this?
Yes. Surveys, but surveys done right.
Okay.
Because Sarah has opinions, obviously. I have thoughts on a lot of things. Surveys in general, I think, are somewhat used correctly, but the issue that we have with them is we take it at face value. So we typically run surveys in D2C after you purchase. This is like a big piece of where they sit. The only other place that I've seen surveys is like quizzes where we try and help them decide, is this the right product for you? When it comes to post-purchase surveys, though, we always want to ask them what they thought of us. So it's like, what did you like about our product? What did you like about our website? Like, tell me I'm pretty kind of thing.
Right.
And I'm like, like,
that's awesome.
I don't need to know what you thought about me because clearly you thought good enough of us to go buy a product.
Yeah.
What I do need to know, though, is things like what almost stopped you, who was involved in this product purchase today. I want to know, where were you when you purchased this? Which environment were you in? Were you on your couch? Were you at work? Were you in your car? That sounds weird to get that data, but I want to know specifically, what is it that's causing people to purchase from us from an environment standpoint? One, so I could run ads there, but two, because I want to see what mode they were in while they were purchasing from us. So that post-purchase is not used nearly enough as it should and not as well enough as it should. Because the brands get stuck on like, we need data. Tell us what we did right. And I'm like, you did something right. It doesn't matter what you did. I want to know what they did, right? What the customer was doing while they're in this mode. So survey data, critically important. And then secondary to that, I try really hard to push the brands to ask questions that don't make sense really in an attempt to get people out of logical thinking mode. So I've been running these for many, many years now. I run a core identity map. It's the CIM, and it's built on pictures and metaphors.
Okay.
It's a survey that doesn't really use logical thinking. We ask a few logical questions in there, like, what do you think about this product? Those types of things. But primarily, I'm trying to get down to more subconscious level thinking by offering a way for them to get into their own head without knowing they're doing it. So a great example of this, I'll run some picture-based surveys that says something like, if our product was a superhero, which superhero would it be?
Okay.
And then I'll give them a bunch of pictures of superheroes. Right after that question, I always want to ask why, right? Why did you choose Superman? Like, why did you choose Batman? What was it about this image that resonated with you? That gives you so much more emotional data at the top and then a logical reason for why they chose that at the bottom. And the interesting part is you get weird data on this, and I love it to death. You can ask questions about like, what kind of tool would it be? A hammer, a screwdriver, like, a measuring set, like whatever it is. You can also go really more like get really intense with it if you want to go more emotional and ask people, what kind of relationship do you have with us? Are we in a situationship? Are we dating? Are we married? Like, what are we to you? Like, what, DTR talk from brand to brand.
Nice.
I've gotten some really interesting answers to that because people are very much like, dude, I don't know you.
All right.
Okay. The answer I get. So, and nobody's asking these questions or thinking to ask them deeper. I'm just shocked because there's so much you can learn when you ask somebody to answer emotionally instead of answering logically. So,
that is fascinating.
Oh, it's so
I feel like my feelings would be hurt if people were like, your brand's a you up text. I'd be like, well,
oh my God.
we need to fix that. We need to fix that ASAP.
You'd be surprised. Some of the biggest brands I've worked with have situationships going on, and I'm like, oh no, we got to work on that. That's a bad thing. So
Sarah,
Mm.
I want to ask you, about what is the role of the creative strategist today.
Yeah.
But before I get there, I want you to tell me how I can be like you. And
Oh my God.
I say that because there are a lot of things that there's a lot of things that I'm great at and I am unique at that is
Mm.
otherwise and different from other people. But I also know that I have glaring weaknesses. And
Every human does. Yep.
one of them is being, you know, very systematized, which is partly why I need
Mm.
Colin on this show. Another one is, you know, delving into the depths of psychology, mining those
Mm.
things and being able to
Yeah.
systematically apply them inside of creating ads and what we're doing in marketing and
Mm.
such. It I know you've got a school.
I do.
If I can get inside your school, which I was looking at this
Yes.
morning, can I be like
I would
you?
love to.
Can you
Yes.
help me
I
be
would
like you?
Yes. That school has morphed and morphed and morphed. I have tried so hard to figure out in my own business and my own like community that I'm growing, what's the best way to deliver this information? Because
Yeah.
like we talked about earlier, all of Twitter is talking about psychology, but we're still not seeing it come out in advertising easily. So the school is one of the best ways, I think, shameless plug, to come learn how to be more of a psychology-based
Yeah.
marketer. Mostly because every single week I'm teaching these very definitive psychology-based applications is what we're teaching. So for instance, last week we went over how to use Maslow's hierarchy to charge higher prices for your
Yeah,
product.
I want to do that.
Yeah, it was a fascinating, like I went down a rabbit hole. A couple weeks ago, we shared a bunch on, I guess this week we actually did one on how to use Pavlov's like theory of classical conditioning.
Yeah.
Basically just to get people to recognize your ads faster. So there's all kinds of little psychology in there. Overall, though, I get this question a ton this year. I think we just have more creative strategists coming up. Finally, like 5 years later, it finally took us forever to get a bunch more injected into the system. Creative strategy, I think, is a difficult skill to learn because you honestly have to be like the culmination of 3 different departments in one person. And that's so hard because you have to have a performance background of some sort. You got to understand metrics and understanding growth and those type of things. You got to be creative.
Yeah.
Which when I say creative, I mean you have to know how to make content. And that's a skill I'm like is so difficult to get in one person. And then on the backside of it, you kind of have to understand business, understanding like
to some degree, right?
Yeah, like to some degree, yeah, you got to understand what a P&L is. Like,
right.
And some of the brands don't share that with their creative strategists, but you kind of have to keep it in mind because depending on what I put in the ad account, we might blow through our inventory this month, lose our supply chains entirely, and then we don't have any inventory to sell. So now we're screwed for the next 3 months. Yeah. Some creative strategists can do that, you know, and on the back end, like the opposite side, if we can't sell anything, if I'm really struggling to do my job as a creative strategist, well, I need to know, is it me or is it the landing page?
Yeah.
Is it me or is it the actual product? Like,
does the product suck?
Oh my gosh, there's so many pieces. I feel so bad for creative strategists because I'm like, I'm trying to help people use psychology, but my group is more for people who've been in this for a minute.
Yeah.
Like you're an intermediate level and you're trying to just get up to expert. Just to upgrade from beginner to kind of intermediate level is a task. So are there groups for this? Yes, absolutely. I have like lots and lots of good groups that are popping up everywhere. Mine, it's tough because it's more on the psychology side. So,
well, I want what you got. I want what you got.
Come on in. It would be so fun.
I will tell you, I mean, I want to learn everything there is out there, but I know what you have. I need to learn. I know that much.
It's fascinating. Oh my gosh. Because I mean, to everybody's point, like this is one of those industries where it's needed. Like we need training, we need education. It's just difficult to find. So anywhere that you can get involved with a community or, you know, just following someone on Twitter, like if you find somebody that you resonate with, and really, I think somebody that your brain maps to, because like my brain is a little weird because I'm a systems thinker. That's just what I think in all the time. So everything I have is a framework, a system, a cheat sheet, a checklist. Yeah. But some people that I've tried to train before are just like, I don't understand systems at all. Like your style just doesn't work for me. And I'm like, totally fine. Like I make everything a system. So there's other people out there that may not do it this way. So yeah, find someone who thinks like you, I think is critical.
Well, Sarah, we appreciate you making the time and persistently getting on this show. Here is my ask. Here is my ask. We want to have you back, and we want to have you on for longer. Can we do that?
Yes.
Can we
I'd
make
love
that
to,
happen?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And
yes.
we'll dive
We will.
more into frameworks, because I think what you have are largely D2C bro dominated industry needs. That's what I think that. I do. I genuinely think
Absolutely.
that.
Yes.
And
Absolutely.
I would put you on every stage and platform inside of the conferences in our industry, and you need to be on the show again. So
Thank you. I would love to come back. Thank you guys for having me. This was lovely.
Thank you, Sarah.
Appreciate it.
The ever so
Thank
smart
you.
Sarah Levinger.